sometimes equate allegiance and citizenship. They may be related, but they are not the same thing. And the best example of that will be the case of Rawlings versus Bilson. I'll read that case. The judge basically says it is possible for someone to be a dual citizen, in the case of Rawlings, to be a citizen of Ghana and, let's say, United Kingdom. But that in itself does not mean he owes allegiance to a country other than Ghana. And that is the point, that citizenship is not the same thing as allegiance.
Prof was right when he said allegiance is not the same as citizenship. But what Prof has not told, our audience is that allegiance is like the umbrella word. Then under it, there are so many elements. So there are so many things that will make you pay allegiance to a particular country. Citizenship may only be just one of them. So for example, if you are not a citizen of the US, but you work with maybe CIA, and you take an oath of allegiance because you remember you are working as an agent for the CIA or any of those high security entities in the US, you pay allegiance to the US state without necessarily taking up citizenship. So it is true that citizenship is not the same as allegiance, but it's just one of the indicators. So if you're a citizen of a country, the presumption is that you owe allegiance to that country.
We appeal to the patriotism of these dual citizens when we are trying to sell diaspora bonds and so on. Then it doesn't really ring honestly when it comes to political office to say, well, we doubt your patriotism. If you doubt their patriotism for holding political office, why do you trust them when it comes to selling diaspora bonds or even encouraging them to send you their remittances?
Okay. What we need to do is to go much into details, admit some of the fundamental legal principles, and then make a decision whether we want it to go this way or not, because there is always a way to achieve that purpose without the exclusions that we have put in place.
Dual citizenship, of course, they will not be able to be very loyal equally to both sides. And I believe that we can have potential leaders in Ghana who can man those positions that maybe somebody with dual citizenship would hold in Ghana. So I think it's more or less like we finding out the potentials in other Ghanaians who can man those positions, rather than allowing foreigners who have dual citizenships to come in and man those positions for us. So I think that we have all it takes. We have the human resources, we have people who can man those positions. I'm okay with being Ghanaian, but maybe going forward, as and when the need arises, I might go for, but currently I'm okay with being Ghanaian. Yeah.
But the complication that has to do with the issue of dual citizenship is about the allegiance. And that's the most complex aspect of our governance structure. I prefer to have that kind of dual citizenship issue so that a person can have two citizenship cards. Just as having been a Ghanaian and being an American. I have no problem with that.
When you own a dual citizenship, most times people use it to develop their countries. In respect to my own point of view, I will use it to develop my country. Like, for example, if I own a dual citizenship, having a citizenship from US and also Nigeria. In respect to technology, I love technology a lot. I will use that aspect of life to develop more in technology in Nigeria and ECOWAS and other African countries at large. In crime, people see it as a means of escaping from jail terms.
Allowing somebody who is an American or a citizen of a different nation or country to come and hold sensitive position in another country, such as Ghana I am not in favor of it, because he might come, mess the country up, and then run away for for cover in his country. So I don't stand up for it.
Good afternoon. You're welcome to The Law, and we're giving you part 2 by your request, part 2 of the subject of citizenship, dual citizens. And today we are titling it The Burden of Dual Citizens. You will love our next guest, Chris Osei. He is head of firm at Cartesian Consult Unlimited. Thank you very much for making time to join us, sir.
Thank you, Samson.
Great. So today we will be heavy on your questions. You have sent some of them ahead through our various platforms, and also we interacted with you on the streets on what you think about the law being the process to amend the present position of the law as in our Constitution, to remove, if you like, the burdens, the problems that dual citizens face, so that they can also enjoy equal rights, equal privileges like mono citizens of this country. So I ask, why do you pick or choose the citizenship of another country in addition to Ghana, or to the exclusion of Ghana? Why do you do that? And I make a correction from last week. I mentioned that Adamu Dramani Sakande had a problem because he held a citizenship of the US. He held citizenship of the United Kingdom, of the UK, and that was the issue. So, you would have heard some of the people on the street who spoke to us about whether or not this amendment that is being sought is important or it's not. The views are divided. To start with, where do you stand on that?
Well, Samson, to be fair, I do not think there is a burden on dual citizens in any case. In any case, I do not also think that there exists any problem with that, and the law is clear on it. The law doesn't seek to exclude any citizen in the administration of this country. The law says, generally speaking, we can break the law down to say that every citizen may hold these offices under Section 16 of the Citizens Act. Now, what it seeks to say is that now, where every citizen has that right and opportunity to hold these offices, no citizen shall have or shall hold these offices if that citizen has or holds any allegiance to any other country other than Ghana. Another way to say is that every citizen can hold these offices, provided that they do not hold any allegiance to any other or external country.
So the Constitution we operate now, the 1992 Constitution, we started it by that Constitution in Article 8.
Yes.
Clause 1, clearly prohibiting dual citizenship.
Exactly.
That you cannot be a citizen of Ghana and of another country.
Yes.
Then in 1996, we decided to amend it because we realized that there's no sense in it. These days, we are global citizens. If you talk about the Barack Obamas, and today we are talking about the UK Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, they have brought a lot of benefit to their countries. If they had laws such as we had in 1992, they would not have had that benefit.
Yeah.
So in 96, we said, let's change the law.
Yes.
We changed it, and we said, you can be a dual citizen, except that you will not be an ambassador or high commissioner, you will not be a secretary to cabinet, you will not be a chief of defense staff or any service chief, inspector general of police, commissioner customs, director of immigration, any other offices. You cannot be chief justice, you cannot be a justice of the, is it the justice of the superior court or so. It clearly shows that we have seen that what we're operating didn't make sense. So we made way. There are many countries that are now opening up to non-prohibition or restrictions on dual citizens.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that. The country, of course, is a living constitution. It is subject to change, among others. But let us look at this. The whole process, the whole constitution as it is, it cannot just change because we will it to change. It cannot just change because another country has changed theirs. We cannot just change it because we have previously committed to changing some parts of it. We can only change it to suit the current situation, as in the existing situation in the country. Look at a country where we are, we have institutions which are unable to investigate. In fact, sometimes we investigate, in the middle of it, it is truncated. There are a number of commissions of inquiries which findings we have never been privy to, we've not seen. There are a number of truncated investigations, even by the police. Every other time, there is this attempt to find this, introduce that. We are not even able to implement our basic laws. Now we are going to insist on, let's say, repeal this part of the constitution and say that every other person can come there, can play this role in the country. The difficulty is that how do we monitor them? How do we control them? So it ceases to be of a legal nature. Now we go to, it becomes of a political, a socio-political matter. Are we able to contain it? Are we able to follow it?
What do you want to monitor? What do you want to control in a dual citizen?
So there are, let me give you a typical example. In the US, during the elections, one of the main issues that came up about Hillary Clinton. Yeah, was that she used her private mail in communicating during her official duties.
Right.
Those things are products, those findings are products of proper research. Stronger institutions to have done same. Do we have same here? We do not have.
Why is that necessary?
Because it's human as we are. That is the basis upon which we swear oaths. Because we know humans may change our minds. We may have other affiliation. We may decide that we want to switch allegiance. We may decide that we will keep our older allegiance and to satisfy them. And that is why we swear oaths. And on that basis, we all think and suggest and anticipate that humans may go beyond their boundaries and parameters. And that is what we need to safeguard.
So that if you allow a dual citizen to occupy the offices that are presently prohibited.
Yes.
And we recently passed the Office of Special Prosecutor Act, and we prohibited them again that they can't be special prosecutor because you are a dual citizen.
Yes.
You are saying that that is good because we do not have the mechanisms to ensure that your loyalty is to Ghana other than the other country which you are a citizen of.
Specifically so. And so you see a country like UK. UK will tell you, oh, a dual citizen may hold certain positions. And in fact, let's be fair to Ghana in the constitution. It is the case that even in the United States, there are some positions and areas where you need proper clearance if you are not a citizen, a proper citizen of the country to deal with. Even in the military, which is commonly known, persons want to, unless you reach a certain level and you become a proper citizen, you are not given those privileges. And so it is universal, except to say that now these countries are advanced. They have stronger economic power. They have stronger military presence in the world. And so they can choose to let these things go because they know they are rather the persons or the countries where they are rather the countries we should be watching. Now, a third world country like Ghana.
just mentioned the U.S.
Yes.
In the U.S., once you are a natural-born citizen of the U.S.,
Yes.
regardless of the fact that you may hold the citizenship of another country, they are not bothered.
Yeah.
You could take up the most important office in the U.S. for as long as you satisfy the residency requirements. You must have been resident in the country for at least 14 years. Yeah. You can run to become a president.
Yes.
So how do we bring the U.S. in? Okay. If we are looking for the best examples, which we often do, yeah, why don't we then use their example?
Okay, let me use their example. And that's why their president, former president, Mr. Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, came to Ghana and told us that we should build stronger institutions in the governance process. We should build stronger institutions to help us reach our goals. It is an affirmation of the fact that we do not have stronger and proper institutions to hold the same country which we adore.
Your argument, therefore, is that we should only be amenable to allowing dual citizens to hold these sensitive offices, yes, subject to having institutions, especially investigative institutions, yes, that are stronger enough.
Exactly.
Until we get there,
we cannot.
We shouldn't contemplate it.
No, because we are in a very competitive world. This is a country where almost every mineral resource, every week, we find information as to a new resource we found. This country is a very small country. We have all these things here. We have human resource, which is one of our, I always say, it's one of our biggest resources we have. Look, if we allow these things to happen, and tomorrow the head of CIA, or maybe former head of CIA, may have Ghanaian roots, and then come in and becomes a
president or becomes
I mean, like any of them, secretary, yes, to cabinet. Between you and I, whom do you think he will hold allegiance to? That's the question.
No, but why? If he swears the oath, and before you take office, he will swear to have his allegiance to Ghana.
Yes.
So what? You're saying that he will swear it without believing and keeping to the oath?
It can be done, and that is why there are stages. So you are saying, even then, even if he swears it, he can still go against it. He can even denounce his US citizenship and still swear it and do the same thing I'm saying.
Therefore,
but I'm saying that
argument, yes, actually now, yeah, neutralizes the opposition.
If you let me, if you let me conclude.
Okay.
But you see, it narrows the quantum of distraction. It reduces it, so that when people from other jurisdictions holding other allegiances come into this country and are placed in these positions, it is a very narrow space for them to pass through in order to do us the harm we...
In 2006,
yes,
we passed a law by our parliament saying that Ghanaians who live abroad, yes, that is, including dual citizens, yes, have the right to be registered wherever they live and to vote in our elections, public elections, from wherever they live. If we give them the right to participate in elections, yeah, by voting, why should they not participate in elections by way of sort of seeking offices?
You see, in the same way the laws of this country allows prisoners to vote, prisoners of this country to vote, but we cannot make the same arguments for them.
Why not?
It makes it difficult.
Why not?
Because if you, for instance, if you have been charged and committed for the offense of fraud, all these offices will not avail you. You will not have it. But you are a prisoner and a citizen of this country and you voted. So the law allows some form of discrimination to protect the interest of the state. And that's what I'm speaking to.
We are looking for the best human resource.
Yes.
And sometimes our best could be in our citizens who are not mono-citizens but dual citizens. We should not use their expertise by way of bringing them into these offices simply because they are dual citizens.
No, it doesn't exclude them. It says they have to renounce their citizenship. So they are still allowed. So no dual citizen has been prevented from.
No, they are. If they have to renounce it, then...
You have to renounce it. Doesn't mean you cannot be. You have the chance.
Once you renounce it, you have lost the other citizenship.
Then again, if you want such a public office and you want to hold so dearly to another allegiance you hold, which is a competitive allegiance to this country.
Another citizenship, not allegiance.
Another citizenship.
Right.
No, we are talking about because you see, okay, another citizenship.
Right.
And you want to come and work in this country as in these positions, as in Section 16. Now, wanting to come here, why do you think that you can hold that citizenship and still come and do the same thing against the oath you've sworn?
Why not?
Because the oath you've sworn as a citizen there is the same oath you swear here. They contradict each other. Then again, so we are saying that we are either trying to force someone to be dishonest with the oath the person swore. Because you sworn the same oath in another country, we are swearing it here, and you want to come and play in these positions. And in these positions, it comes with the oath of secrecy, it comes with the oath of office, and then there's another one. You understand? So these ones should not be, they are clear signs of danger for a country like Ghana. Yes. So I am saying this is not a legal matter. I don't think it's illegal because the courts have settled it. The constitution is clear on it. It is a political matter. It's a socio-political matter. Are we ready for it? We may be ready for it in 10 years. We may be ready next year. I mean, I'm being charitable.
Then we could be ready for it now.
Exactly, but are we ready? That's a question we have. So there should
have we
be a
ever
general
been ready
consensus.
for anything?
Yes.
All right, so you are still here on the law. We are continuing the discussion on dual citizenship. Last week we separated we did the distinction between allegiance and citizenship, and we dwelt on dual citizenship. Now, let us begin to take your views. Today, we are going to take just your questions, and Chris Yabua is going to be answering your citizenship. You have a number of questions that you sought to pose to us, but last week, time did not allow us to take your questions. So, why do you pick another country's citizenship in addition to Ghana or to the exclusion of Ghana? Do you think that we should amend the constitution as is being about to be done now for dual citizens so that all the inhibitions, the prohibitions are removed against them? Eric Papa Senior says, I disagree because dual citizenship is not a warrant of incompetence to mismanage economic resources. After 64 years of practicing this law, Ghana is only developing on paper, but on the ground, we are retrogressing. We need to revise it. Dual citizenship is not a warrant of incompetence.
Yes. Now, there's also no assurance that when they come, they will not do the same thing past governments and present governments have been doing. Now, you also notice that a lot of
we are looking for solutions, so we explore.
So a lot of these MPs have always held dual citizenship and converted to Ghanaians and renounced their citizenship of that. And we are still where we are. I mean, so it is the will of the people, the political will to do. And that's why I've said that it is not the legal matter. And that's why we have so many laws in this country which are not being enforced. Because on the look, Ghana should have been one of the best places to live in with all the laws. Very nice. But we don't implement them. And so, yes, it is not a matter of amendment of the law.
Let's take the next question or contribution. And it's coming from Ras Savadogo Kamvili Na. He says, aside politics, our proclamation on dual citizenship is injudicious and need proper overhauling. How can you welcome a dual nationality to invest in his or her native country and neglect such person to hold a position in the same country? That section of the law needs to be revised or abolished. So, second contributor.
My only answer is that.
Right.
Let me just make it plain and streetwise. The fact that I go into a certain house to purchase something from the house doesn't mean I should be privy to the history of the family and what pertains in the family that dwell in that particular house. Now, these positions are sensitive positions because these people will be privy to confidential information. They'll be privy to state secrets.
They have sworn an oath of secrecy. They have sworn an oath of allegiance. And you just open to the schedule of the Constitution, which contains all of these. It comes with sanctions. So if they breach the oath of allegiance, they breach the oath of office or oath of secrecy, they will suffer the sanctions. So why not? Even mono-citizens breach some of these oaths.
I was waiting for you to dwell on the sanction, the part of the sanction.
Okay.
So then, in discussions with other lawyers, I've also noticed that when it comes to dual citizenship, it doesn't only pertain to local laws. It is actually a matter of international law. Now, being international law, issues as to jurisdiction over the person will come in. Jurisdiction over the person, if the person commits a crime. Now, let's take a scenario where a person is a minister of, no, let me not go far. Let me say, a director of immigration commits a crime under the State Secrets Act.
Or we allow the person to be special prosecutor. We remove the inhibition.
Exactly.
And they are special prosecutor.
And then he commits a heinous crime against the state. And just when we're about to arrest him, he flees from our jurisdiction to his other country. Let's say America. We'll have problems with extradition and enforcement of the law. And these are salient issues that we need to deal with. And so you look at your might and your strength, both on the international level and the local level, in deciding whether or not you want to open up this door.
Why should that be a difficulty? Because presently, under our law, if you're a citizen of Ghana and you commit a crime, and you commit the crime on our soil, even in circumstances where you commit the crime outside of our country, by virtue of your being a public officer, and you go and commit it elsewhere, the law is able to deal with you. Why can't we use the same laws to bring you down and to deal with you?
This is a case where, for instance, let's use America. The person is both a citizen of America and Ghana. And he goes there and says, I'm an American citizen. And then they keep him. Now, it is not as easy as saying he's a public officer and he's a citizen of Ghana. He's also their citizen. Mind you, Americans do not joke with their citizens. So if there's any disaster or any matter that affects the security of their citizens, they quickly come in and whisk the person away. We'll have all these problems. Now, we also need to advert our minds to the fact that these persons in their positions, should they travel in the name of the country, they will be holding diplomatic positions and will be subject to diplomatic laws and immunities. Now, what happens if the other country decides that, okay, you are a diplomat, but you are a citizen, and you've broken this local law of ours? What happens? Yes, and
that's an interesting part.
That is it. So all these things are areas where we need to focus well on and correct and prepare before we open up this.
Let's take some more questions or contributions. And then we have Don Donei Zu says the current law only deprives Ghana of competent men and women who are willing to put country first in the country's development agenda. Many of these dual citizens have businesses and property in the country and may have taken on citizenship from another country to be able to access better employment opportunities in those countries or the countries of their residence? Who cuts his own nose to spite his face? Let's go to the next one. So far, those who say there is a need to look at this again appear to be winning by way of the numbers. There are a couple more that I've seen that were earlier scrolled. So I wanted to read them to you so that you look at them generally and share your view. Joseph Yeboah says, okay, so Joseph bears your name, Joseph Yeboah, says, you give birth to a child in a foreign country, preach your culture and encourage the child to speak your language and love your country of origin. But that child can't hold a public office in the same country you are encouraging him to love? That's like double standards, Joseph Yabua is suggesting. Tanye Edmond says, for the many years that we used laws to restrict them, what have we achieved on our own? Why do we call on them to return home? What do you say?
Well,
let me read this last one. Okay. Fifi Duke Quagrin says that I am even looking for an app that can help me resign or lock out as a Ghanaian citizen. An app that will help him log out or resign as a Ghanaian citizen. No, you know, okay, so Chris will say, you see, we want your loyalty. Yeah.
Yes. So the first one, he spoke of the economic value of dual citizens to the country. Well, that is unsubstantiated. All the statistics that have come up have not been substantiated. Why am I saying so? Because
but the fears you have are also only presumptive.
Yes, yes, but it is in protection of a greater cause. Now, the economic value argument, well, let's set aside, let's not discuss the unsubstantiation. I'm saying that the economic value, the whole process of excluding persons and making them swear an oath of allegiance and then having to renounce their earlier other allegiance is to protect the sovereignty of the country. Now, we can never place this economic value over the sovereignty of the country. And that is why the texter is not
That's
right.
where you disagree with the texter.
I disagree with him.
Okay.
Now, secondly, the one who spoke about the child in public office, like I said, no Ghanaian citizen has been denied the right
but
to
if
be
they
in
have
public
to
office.
renounce the citizenship of the other country
Yes.
before they can hold all of these offices and the new ones we are even creating, I spoke to you and you even raised questions about the legitimacy of some of the new creations.
Yes. Yeah. So the whole idea is that the child can hold a public office. He has to renounce the other. And the reason is that my argument is that why would you, if you find holding another allegiance other than Ghana so dear to your heart, then it is clear that when you are in office, you may also be swayed into acting in support of their allegiance on the other side.
I get the point you are raising, but let's see if you have any support, because so far you don't seem to. We have guys joining us on Zoom, nice. And I'm seeing some familiar names too as well. I've seen Frederick Sampson. Yeah. I have seen Rocky. Then you can also see Wilfred Kwao, among others. Okay, so who do we have joining us first? Okay, hello, Evans. Evans, let's start with you.
No, wait. Thank you very much, Austin. It's an interesting discussion you're having in the studio. And the contribution I'm making to this is, much as we all seeing and hearing the pros and cons there is to it, I strongly believe that the time has come, and what is going on, the discourse that is going on now, is to tell us that, as the lawyer is rightly saying, we have to review the laws of the land in that regard, just so that all of us can have a better place in this country. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Evans. Hello, Rocky. Rocky, let's have your contribution. Wilfred, please mute. When I mention your name, then you unmute. Yes, Rocky. Okay, Rocky doesn't seem to hear me because I'm watching him and there's no any sign to show that he's paying attention. Hello, Wilfred.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Wilfred.
Yeah, so I take the view that the laws as they're being, or they're looking to implement them now, someone made the point that people assume nationality of other countries for the purpose of having the right to work in those countries and not necessarily have those, the kind of allegiance that Ghanaians talk about. Now, Ghanaians in the diaspora have allegiance to their countries, no matter how you look at it. Your question as to whether when they decide to take any position in Ghana, whether they're being really sincere in their allegiance is one that can be debated. However, if we push this too much, there is also the argument that we're being too purist in our approach in terms of who we consider to be Ghanaian. And we miss the opportunity to attract talent that we need in Ghana to be able to develop the country. If we just want to rely on a purist form of who a Ghanaian is, then we lose sight of the opportunities that we get from bringing in talent. So I think, yes, positions need to be occupied by Ghanaians, but you need to be a bit flexible with that. Other countries apply, a different. You look at it differently. Boris Johnson is an American. He was born in America, so I think he can have American citizenship. But he's the prime minister of this country. Does he hold allegiance to the U.S.? No. So I think we need to look at it.
Yeah. In fact, Boris Johnson just took the steps of renunciation. I think he just renounced the citizenship only for the purposes of avoiding tax in the U.S.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Americans take a global view to their tax policy, and so whether you're underground somewhere, then you will have to pay U.S. tax if you're considered a U.S. person.
All right.
But that has nothing to do with your citizenship and whether. So I think Ghana or the parliament, the way the law as we see, we're kind of applying it now. We're being too purist in the way we're applying it.
All right, Wilfred Kwao, thank you so much. We've heard you. You've been very clear in your contribution. Samson, Frederick Samson, can we hear you? Hello, Fred.
Yes, Samson, good afternoon.
Go ahead.
Yes, I think I share the view taken by Chris, and my simple reason is this. I believe this position as Chris canvassed has been settled by our Supreme Court. Now, the point is that if we have dual citizens in Ghana who want to take up such positions, the question is, what prevents such persons from renouncing their citizenship to the other countries and taking up such high positions as they want to take in Ghana, with the basis that they want to offer some kind of services to Ghana? So, I mean, really speaking, I honestly do not see the need for any change in the current position of the law as is being advocated by others.
So you are against the amendment that is being introduced. There is a Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, Amendment Bill 2021, seeking to amend the law the Constitution to remove the inhibitions that have been put in the way of dual citizens. You're against that?
Yes, I have never been in favor of that particular position.
Why can't someone have both? Why must they renounce their citizenship to the other country before?
Well, I still go back to the case decided by the Supreme Court I think in 2013, and I think the reasons were made clear by their lordships. I don't see what has changed since that particular decision was made. And the point is that you really want to serve Ghana, which is fine. Like Chris said, nothing prevents you from doing so. The only indication is that renounce your citizenship. I mean, before the amendment in 96, like his lordship, Dr. Ban said, that was not the position. You couldn't hold dual citizenship at all. I mean, we had moved from there to 1996, where we said that, okay, now you can hold it. But certain positions are restricted to persons who don't hold citizenship to any other country. So if I want to offer myself for such a position, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be willing to renounce my citizenship to the other states in preference for Ghana. Okay,
thank you very much, Fred. Let's go to Reverend Divine. Reverend, thank you for joining us. Please unmute.
Right. Thank you. Thank you also for giving me this opportunity. Yes. My question, my issue is, are there no other positions that those who are trying to work for the nation that they can occupy? Why are they wanting to only occupy parliamentary and other high positions? If they have anything to do, they can also come and serve. It's not limited to only being a parliamentarian and other things. Nevertheless, can we take census of those who denounce their citizenship, and we'll see how they performed? If there can be any research on that, that can also inform us. I think
well, first of all, you have not given them the opportunity as dual citizens to hold those offices yet. So I doubt there is a basis to make a comparison.
No, but some were having dual citizenship, and they denounced it and came to work.
Yeah, so that is different from one. That is different from one who says, "I want to keep my citizenship of another country and that of Ghana, and to work for Ghana."
But I don't know the same people. It's the same person.
It's not the same. Otherwise, we'll not be having this argument. Okay, let's try if Rocky can hear us now. Reverend Divine, thank you for joining us.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Hello, Rocky, can you hear us now? Okay, yes. Hello, Berima. Yes, Berima, unmute and let's hear you.
Yeah. Samson, thank you very much.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much. I think we have had this debate for a very long time. And our generation, those of us who are old already, I don't think the conversation should be centered on us. We have migrated into these countries and we have educated our children very well. They are holding key positions. They don't care that much. That the point I'm making is that the investment that we have made in these children need to be translated to develop Ghana. So those impediments should be removed. It doesn't help Ghana in any way. By the way, some other countries like Israel, Nigeria, and other people, what are they doing? We just spoke about Boris Johnson, who is an American citizen. He didn't denounce his citizenship before becoming the prime minister. So what is Ghana holding on to? Denying his own citizens who have migrated and learned something and want to come and help. And we are being too protective. What are we hiding? At the same time, look at the economic benefit that accrue to this country from citizens outside. I mean, Ghanaians should just stop talking about these things. Just remove the impediments and allow our children who are well educated to flow back and forth because they were born here. It's not by their fault that they are American citizens.
100%.
They are Ghanaians as well. Please stop this because it's not going to help anybody. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you
very much. Thank you very much. Was that Kwao supporting that submission? Hello, Francis. You are joining us by phone. What do you think about the discussion? There is a bill seeking to amend the constitution to remove the restrictions placed on dual citizens from holding certain sensitive offices in Ghana.
Oh, hello. Thank you very much. But sincerely speaking, I think they should leave it as it is. It should be left the way it is now, because in the current situation of world politics, holding such two offices, especially if you hold a high office, certain documents and certain information needs to be keep privacy or needs to be very secretive to that state or that country. So if you hold an allegiance to two states or two countries, it becomes very difficult. Say, for example, Russia and America, for example, then you have dual citizenship of Russia and America. Who do you hold allegiance to? Then we know how the international politics.
The example you just made, did I lose him? I was going to ask you that. The example you just made, America doesn't have the restriction you are talking about, and yet they are able to deal with the Russians, so to speak. Again, talking about leaking secrets, will it only be dual citizen who will leak a secret or, confidential information? Will a mono citizen not also be able to leak, information to another country? So that brings us to last week, the distinction between citizenship and allegiance. You can have the citizenship of more than one country, but have your allegiance to one and not the other. That has also been upheld. Okay, I've got Moro, Gariba, Ameyao, very many of you joining us now. So who do I pick first? Hello, Ameyao, let's hear you. Ameyao, go ahead. Okay. Ameyao, you must be listening direct and not through the television or... who is calling us from Osino? Hello, Fred. Fred, let's hear you. Fred, you are calling from Osino. Let's hear you, Fred.
Oh, okay. So please, the point I want to make is that I think it is fundamental as a country, it is fundamental that certain positions should be limited to people who are direct citizens of the country and not hold the or owe allegiance to other countries. And so the Constitution makes it clear. Of course, there are people who are holding, one of these sensitive positions who used to be dual, citizens, holding citizenship of Ghana and that of other countries. And so I think this is simple, as the Constitution states. So if you want to hold such positions and you hold a dual citizenship, it is a matter of, denouncing, your citizenship of the other country, if really you want to hold that. I think there are very crucial matters in the Constitution that need to be reviewed and not things like this. Thanks. I think there are very crucial, matters in the Constitution, part of the Constitution, some provisions that need attention.
Okay, thanks for your point of view. We are staying on this subject. Frank from Volta region. Hello, Frank.
Yes. So, good afternoon.
Afternoon. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that this whole thing that dual citizens should not hold such critical positions is neither here nor there. Okay. Personally, I have my children in the U.S. 3 of them are U.S. citizens when I was schooling there myself. Okay, so we are now in Ghana. To the extent that when I came back from the United States, I raised enough fund and established a school in the Volta region. Okay, so Ghanaians are going to say that because I'm a dual citizen in the U.S., I can't even establish the school?
No, you are not prohibited from establishing a school. That's why you have been able to do it.
Yeah, I'm gradually coming to the main concept.
All right.
Now, look at Patrick Ewa, who came with Ashesi University. This guy is a dual citizen. The academic city, dual citizen. These are people who came here with expertise. So are you saying that I'm from Ghana originally, became a citizen in America, so I couldn't be the member of parliament of my constituency in the voter region? Someone who's schooled in America, I did my PhD, I did all my PhD in America. It's just an emotional argument that a dual citizen is going to do here and there. I lived in Washington, D.C. for so many years. I worked there, I work in Maryland State, for instance, Board of Elections. Now you call here Electoral Commission. Look, I know so much about electoral system in the U.S. The whole thing is that we are chasing our shadow. Okay? We don't even believe in ourselves. The oath we swear, we don't even believe in it in the first place. Otherwise, when someone swears an oath, that's it. You swear an oath that I'm going to do so and so. If I'm not able to do it, get rid of the person. That's it. So it should be a system, not about me.
Right.
It should be a kind of system you create to check those balances.
Right.
Otherwise, to me, I see the whole argument as an emotional argument.
Thank you very much. Daniel, you are calling us from Amra here. You'll be the last I will pick on phone. Hello, Daniel.
Yes, Samson.
Yes, go ahead.
I think the framers of the Constitution, they knew why they put this clause there. I am aware that there are instances where nations even force their citizens to act in certain ways that is of interest to the nation. So even though our brothers outside there want to be part of what we are doing, I think it is important that we allow the law to remain as it is. There may be instances that nations may, ask their members to act in certain ways and manners. And if I have a dual citizenship, like my other speakers have said, I may be called upon by reason of my citizens to act in a way. And I think we should leave the law as it is.
Okay.
Thank you for the sake of time.
Thank you, Daniel. Daniel called us from Amra here, and unfortunately, we are unable to take any more contributors. I will come back to Chris Yeboah here in the studio to continue and to conclude the discussion. But it's been very, very interesting and engaging. Chris Osei Yeboah is my guest, and Chris Osei Yeboah is head of firm at Cartesian Consult Unlimited, and he has a completely contrary view on this subject as we began last week. And he says even the title, Burden of Dual Citizens, for him is a misnomer because he doesn't see any burden on dual citizens. Now, once again, you see that even the contribution from our viewers on Zoom and also on phone, there is you can say safely that 2/3 majority are for an amendment. It's only a minority, very insignificant minority.
I disagree with you because those who called in were
there were
very emphatic.
There were 2 of the calls that were against, out of a total of about 6 or so, and then those who join us on Zoom, there was only 1 or 2 who are against.
I'm really convinced that after they have listened to our arguments and discussion, they may have a change of mind. Now, we have discussed all these things.
Right.
We have also failed to acknowledge the fact that a citizen of, let's say, America is subject to the laws of America and also subject to the courts of America. So when it comes to compulsion to divulge information, the laws of America can compel one person, and this can also be in another country. England can do same, compel you to produce information that may be in the interest of that country.
This is America.
Yes.
Where once you are a natural born citizen of that country, regardless of you holding another citizenship, a citizenship of another country, you can become president.
True.
You have been referring to the UK also,
Yes.
where we have the very current example of an American citizen becoming the prime minister.
Yes.
So what are we talking about?
See, these people, these countries did not just catapult themselves into those positions to hold those views. In the past, they have held such repulsive laws. UK had this, is it Enemies Act? They had a list of countries who were deemed enemies that you could not even trade with. And so even a dual citizen of that country could not have even held an ordinary civil service position there in UK. America also had the same.
There must be exceptions to every law, right?
Yes.
So that those could be the exceptions.
No, those were not. Those were actually the general rules.
Do you hear the Ghanaians?
Yes.
Who have given examples,
yes,
like parents like Berima,
yeah,
who say that they have lived in America for years.
Yes.
They have raised their children there, giving them the best of education,
yes,
and they are capable of contributing.
Yes.
So people in that situation, like the Fred who called from the Volta region, the children were born in America.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
It's true.
They have grown up. Why should they give up that citizenship? Or why should they be denied to contribute in this way simply because they were born in America?
My answer is simple. They have not been denied work completely from public offices. There are specific offices where the country has decided that.
And these are the important ones.
No. They can be advisors to them if they want to. They can contribute, they can be consultants, they can be any other thing.
Why can't they go to Parliament and make laws?
Because they, in the first place, I was discussing with my younger brother. He's in the law school. And he says, well, my argument was right because you can imagine a situation where, let's say, a Minister of Interior calls for war and runs away. You get what I'm saying? Runs away to his mother country. Or a parliamentarian will have to go and vote. If Ghana is to wage war against another country, a parliamentarian who holds allegiance to that country will go and vote.
Presently, when it comes to elections, these people who we are voting for, they leave us anyway.
Yes. In the same America, America prevents...
All right. Chris, thank you so very much. It's been very engaging and very interesting, but this is all time will allow us. Chris Osei is the head of firm at Quotation Consult Unlimited, and he was assisting us on our part 2 of the burden of dual citizens. The verdict is still out there, but here on the show, I think it's been conclusive, with a few against that the law should be amended. I'm Samson Ladia Yanini. You have been watching The Law. This is your Legal Light and your Health Law. We come your way next week with another edition. Thank you very much.